Welcome back to another episode of Design Cafe. In this week's episode, we're going to be discussing Fall 2024 Luxe design. And I'm talking luxe as in luxe in your bed. So if you want to know how I came up with this beautiful look on my bed and a beautiful look on my console, stay tuned for this week's video. Let's get into it.
She says she running away. She says she can't take it no more. No. So she ran away. She can't love him, says she running away. She says she can't take it no more.
Guys, if this is your first time seeing me, my name is Judith and I go by Jag. I do have another channel. The name of it is Jag by Design. And on that channel, I like to do some vlogging and so forth. But on this channel, I've decided to designate this channel to mainly interior design things. Okay, so we're going to be talking interior design. I'm going to be giving you layman knowledge on interior design, so you don't have to be afraid of this channel, because most of the interior design channels, they tend to be for people who have a better understanding of interior design. And I noticed that that was a challenge for some people, and that's why most people are afraid of interior design and think they can't put a space together. So on this channel, I decided to go very layman. Let me teach interior design very layman. And once you get these basic things, then you'll be able to watch those other channels and be like, oh girl, I knew that. Oh girl, I know how to put that together. Oh, for real? So that is what this channel is about. And if you love that, if that is what you're interested in, please stick around, hit that subscribe button. Don't just view, don't just watch this video, but hit the subscribe button and become a part of Design Cafe by Jag. Okay, so guys, let's now get into the balance of this video, because I think you guys are eager to hear what I got to say on all this fall decor. Some of y'all be pulling out, and what I've been seeing and what have killed your luxe design for fall. Okay guys, welcome back to this week's video. Now, if you guys are anything like me, I love my bed to look luxe all the time. It makes me feel cute, it makes me feel achieved, and it makes my space feel very, very designed. So what I've decided to do is I decided to do a video on how you can keep your bed looking so luxe, how you can keep your room looking so designed in fall. Because I know for fall, we like to pull out all the little pumpkins and all the little trinkets and all that kind of stuff. And guess what? Those things, most of them do, especially if you do it wrong. They make your space feel and look very cheap. So if you don't want your space to look cheap, then you need to stick around for this video, and we're gonna go through how I kept my space feeling very luxe through the fall. Okay guys, so we're gonna clear a few things up. Let's just clear up a few things. And by clearing up these few things, I mean going forward, you would understand when I use the word luxe or I use the word design, where I'm coming from, what I'm actually talking about. Let's first talk about the bed, okay? And let's first understand when we say luxe in design and what we mean by that when we're talking about the bed, right? So let's get into it. So let's talk about using all these little trinkets in your space and how they can make your space look very cheap. If you have not seen my last video where I discussed about using too many little accessories, the little pumpkins here and there, how they could start to make your space look cheap and not let it look very designed and luxurious, then you definitely want to look at that video as well. And then you want to look at this video. Okay, now I know it's a trend. You've seen it all over YouTube. Not because you see it all over YouTube, that means you have to run and do it. Everybody home is just starting to look the same. Okay? We have to find some individuality going on here and trying to separate our spaces. Not everything you see on there you need to do, and not everything you see on there actually works. It may look good on camera, but it may not look good for you. Okay, so that is why I wanted to do this video. The next reason why I wanted to do a video like this is I want you guys to start having the mindset as to let me design my space for the whole year, for 12 months, versus designing my space for 4 months, right? Why? That can get very, very pricey, right? Imagine you buying stuff every season to redo your space. But if you create a space that can work throughout each season, then you don't have to be spending all this money. What you're going to be doing is just probably changing a pillow here or there. That's it, right? Or maybe one or two little florals, but not doing so much that you have to be running to Hobby Lobby. You have to be running to Michael's and Target, like just buying up all this stuff, right? You want to try to design your space so that it can work all year round for you and be more responsible with your coins. The next reason why I think that this is a good video to do is because most of us want to have a designed looking space. I know I want to have a designed looking space. I want my space to look designed all the time. I don't want my space to be looking like no season. I don't want it to be looking like no fall. I don't want it to be looking like no summer. I don't want it to be looking like no spring. Okay? It can smell like that, but I don't need it to be looking like that, right? Fall can start to look very dead. As you can see, fall colors go into those dead looking colors, like the colors that are not as vibrant. And those things can play on your mood, and you need to always remember that. Try to keep your space on the other side of fall, where is that, oh, it's going from hot, it's going to cold. I need to feel cozy, I need to feel cool and warm. That's how you want your space to feel, and that's how you want to design it. You want to design it with colors that are going to make it feel cozy and warm, not colors that are going to make it feel very dead. Okay? So now that I've said all of that, guys, let's talk about how I came up with this beautiful layout on my bed, how I came up with making my bed feel the way that it feels, and why I don't go up in my bed during the day. I think it's off limits. I love when I open up my door and the first thing I see is this jewel, right? Your bed should be that jewel in your room. Your bed should be that one piece in your room where you want it to have a statement. It needs to be that statement piece, and then everything else needs to be basically designed around it. Okay, so let's talk about how I came up with this and all the different layers that I use to come up with this beautiful bed that I have. Okay, guys, I'm having some light technical difficulties. So if you see my lights flickering or you see like one part of me gets a little dark, that's my lights. Okay. 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 Now, the first thing we're going to talk about how we layer this bed. The first thing, guys, you need to make sure that you invest in is good sheets. Period. You need good sheets. How do you determine if your sheets are good or if they're not any good? Now, you guys all watch YouTube. YouTube has become a lot of people TV. It's my TV. Okay? Not everything that you see on YouTube is gospel. Not everything is gospel, unfortunately. Okay? Now, how do I determine if I have good sheets? We all look at the tread counts, right? And that is the one thing you want to look at. You want to see what tread counts are my sheets. But the problem or the issue that I see is that somebody will come on and say, yeah, my sheets is 500 thread counts, or there are 800 tread counts. These are very good sheets. And then I get an up close of the sheets and it's not even good sheets. How do I know that they're not good sheets? Okay. Good sheets is good throughout. Good sheets is made of good fiber. Okay? So, if you have a sheet set that says it's 1,000 tread counts, but it's made of synthetic fiber, you do not have a good sheet set. You just don't, right? There are other things that you need to look at. There are other elements that will come in to make that synthetic fiber a good sheet set, not just the tread count. Okay? Now, I have bought sheet sets before and just picked them up because I saw there were 1,000 tread counts and I thought it was going to be some good sheets. And I took them sheets home, took them out, and those things were thinner than sheer curtains, okay? When I say they were super thin, they were like dirt thin, like they were thin, like they were see-through thin, like they were like, what are these thin? Okay? They were all kinds of thin, but what I needed them to be, which was good sheet sets. They were not, okay? So let's talk about it. Good sheet sets have good tread counts. For your tread counts to be weighed, you need to know what fiber the sheets were made of. Now, what are fibers? Fibers is the fiber, like it's the material, it's the threading, the fiber that was used to make the sheets. When you're looking for good sheets, you want to look for cotton. Cotton is like the biggest one, right? You want to look for bamboo. You want to look for those natural fibers, not man-made synthetic fibers, but natural fibers. If the natural fibers is what made up the thread count of that sheet set, then you have a good sheet set, right? Now, how do they determine the tread counts? They determine the tread counts by vertical, horizontal. You have, for 1,000 tread counts, you have 500 thread going this way, 500 going that way. They're weaved real tightly together, and that's what makes up that 1,000 tread count, right? So that would make the sheet, so the higher the tread count, the more condensed and solid of a piece you have, right? So when you have now synthetic fibers being used in your product, you have to also think on the GSM. So the GSM and the thread count have to go together to determine if you're actually purchasing a really good pair of sheets. Okay, what is the GSM? It's basically the weight of the fiber. That's what the GSM is, right? So you cannot use tread counts on its own when you're talking about synthetic fibers. Okay, you can't use them alone. So now that we've gotten over that, I'm going to show you proof. I had a pair of sheets that I was using on my bed. They're 1,500 thread counts. They were Egyptian cotton. Okay, I used it for over 5 to 6 years. Never changed it out to use any other. I would take it off and wash every weekend, and I would put her back on. The more I wash her, the softer she got. Okay, I used it for 5 to 6 years. When I was moving, the flat sheet got torn. And because of that, I had to decide this time when I was redoing my bed, I had to make a decision to switch them out. Now, the ones I switched them out for is 1,000 tread counts, but it's still what? Cotton, that good stuff. Now, I have I want to say about 3 more. The one that I took off, I have another set of it. I just didn't want to put that back on because I've been using that same stripe for years. So I wanted something a little different. So the one that I have that I decided to use this time is 1,000 tread counts. She feels amazing. They have a luster. One thing with cotton, it has this, the tighter it's woven, the more luster it has. This thing has this beautiful luster to it, and I love it. And the touch and the feel of it is amazing. I didn't spend much for it. Sometimes you will definitely find them in Home Goods, right? I can't remember if I ordered these or I found them in Home Goods, but I've had them for so many years. Every time I see them, they're affordable. I purchase them because I know they can cost a couple $100 for them. So anytime I see them and it's the king, I will purchase, right? if I get a set, like the set I had on my bed was from Bed Bath and Beyond when they were around. And when I got home, washed it, put it on the bed, slept on it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I need me another pair. I went back to the store and I got me another set. So that is the set that I have sitting there right now. Okay. And I haven't opened it. I just like to have nice sheet sets. Okay. So that is what I have on the bed right now. The next thing you want to do is you have to think that you're going into fall. So you want to put a lot more layers on your bed than you would in the summertime, right? You want that extra comfort to the bed, and you want to change out the type of layers that you are using. So because we're going into the fall where the nights are going to be much cooler, I want to go with a blanket, right? So I put a blanket on, but this blanket is a waffle finished blanket, right? The waffle, so it keeps you kind of cool at night. So definitely you're going to want to go with a blanket. Now for me, what I do is I sleep on my flat sheet. I don't sleep on my fitted sheet. So after I put the flat sheet on, that is what I sleep on, because if you're anything like me, you don't like to remove that fitted sheet every weekend to put it back on. My bed is huge. I have a king. She's couple steps to go that way, couple steps to come back. Okay. And it's be me alone trying to make up this bed because ain't nobody else got time with me. Right. So what I try to do is I would sleep on my flat sheet, and every other week is when I would take off both and wash. But every weekend I would only wash the flat sheet, if that makes sense. So now that I'm putting a blanket on there, I would cover myself with that blanket, right? And the blanket is to keep me kind of cool. But when it starts to get way colder, then we're going to cover with the blanket, and we're going to cover with a comforter as well. So now that we're talking about comforters, the next thing that I put on is this beautiful comforter that I've had for a while. And why I love this comforter is I love that it has that little detail that's like me. I love little details. My details don't have to be much. Just those little details I like. And I love the little gray piping that goes around this comforter, right? So I'm going to put that on there. However, it needs to steam, and who don't like to iron? I don't like to iron, much less steam. So I'm definitely gonna find something to cover it, right? Girl, you have to think smart. I want my bed to look good, so I gotta think smart. So after I put that on the bed, that is what I use to get this. You see this height I have going on here? You see that? Some people always say, how do they get that? When I do it, mine, I don't get that. You're not using the right methods. That's one. Two, you're not using the right product to get it done. So a comforter, a nice thick. Now this comforter that I'm using on the bed is not a very thick one. I do have a very heavy duty one, right? She is a down goose. And when I say down goose, she chopping down goose, right? That one is heavy. And when she drops on you at night, you could be sleeping outside in the snow. You ain't going to be cold. Okay. So I'm not pulling her out yet because we're not ready for her. I live in Georgia. We're not ready for her yet. Right. So what I did is I'm using this lightweight comforter is what I'm using on the bed. So once I place it on the bed, and I will use that to fold it, and I'm going to fold her twice. You're going to see here, I'm showing you how I folded it twice, right? And when I fold it, it creates this thickness right here. But like I said, after I put it on, I also was like, I'm not about to be steaming this, right? So this sheet, I had this, this is like a quilt. This one right now. These are quilts, like a comforter quilt in between. I don't know which one it is more than the other. I think it's more of a quilt than it is a comforter. So I have this one, and had put it in the wash. It was on the bed, but I just had it like to the foot of the bed as decor. That's what I had it on the bed as. So I put it in a wash, and I decided to cover the comforter with this. So I put the comforter over it. I push some of it under here, and then bring the rest out over on the top to cover the comforter, right? See? And then I also use the blanket to help to give it some more of this plushness that you are seeing. So that is how I came up with this beauty right here. And my bed looks very, very rich. Why does my bed look so rich? My bed looks so rich because of the product that I decide to use on the bed. Now, these are that velvety looking material. So it's giving off this beautiful luster that you would want on your bed to make your bed look very luxe. Okay, so it's a lot of luster going on here. Okay, and then the next thing that I decided to do is I wanted to bring in some depth in color, but still very warm in color. Remember, we're going into fall, and I want my bed to still look very luxe and very warm. I didn't want it to look very dead. Okay, now if I had left just these pillows on the bed, my bed would have looked very dead. Okay, but we're going to get into that. So what I did is I added this beautiful brown quilt again to the end of the bed, and I didn't just add it there, right? What I decided to do is I decided to watch how I folded it on the bed. So I create a design within a design of it. It's a beautiful piece on its own, and me just having it to the end of the bed, it will look beautiful. But I think using this 3-fold method on the bed with it on the end of the bed, it added even more luxury and luxness to the bed and to the whole overall design and what I was going for. So I really love how this turned out, and I really love how it added this nice, like it like balanced off the entire look that I was going for, and it made everything look really soothing and beautiful, right? Then the next thing I want to do, I don't typically use the pillowcases because I don't typically put sleeping pillows on my bed when I am designing my bed. I am not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that I have done it for so many years that I was over it. That's it. One trick I can tell you guys, if you want a trick, is this is a sleeping pillow. I don't normally use the shams, but I wanted to add this color here. And at the time, I didn't realize that I actually had throw pillows that was this color. If I had realized that, then I wouldn't have pulled out these pillows. But after I went and pulled them pillows out, I was like, I'm not putting them back because I went through a lot to pull them out from where they were. So I added this color back here, which is the same color as those are the shams for the throw that I have going across the front of my bed, right? So I was in between putting it back here or putting these on the back and then putting those in the front. I did it like that, and I didn't like how it looked. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just put them in the back and just let it peek out just a little bit. You just need a little visual of it to see that everything flows together. You don't need to see all of this to see that everything flows together. Okay? So I did that, and then I add these pillows. These pillows are 26 by 26, these. So it's 3 of these on the bed. I got these from IKEA about 2 years ago. This is my second year using them. And the insert that I have in here are 28 by 28. Okay, and then these was always on my bed. So this is what I was talking about when I say sometimes you have to design your space where it can work for you year round. Okay, so this also brought in that nice warmness to the bed. And when it was more summertime and I had more brighter colors on the bed, like this color right here, these didn't look as toned down and matted as they do right now. But because they're observing the green and the browns in it, it's toned the color down. So when I say I design for all year round, I design for all year round. Now I want you to look at how all these colors on the bed play off into the art on the top. up there. You see those colors are coming down into my bed as well. So everything is very intentional. I want to show you one more thing that is very intentional in this whole setting for my bed, and that is the striping that you see going on in my comforters, right? Or in my coverlets. You see I have this tufting going on, the channel tufting going on. The channel tufting is repeated in both of these coverlets on the bed, and then of course into my console. Okay, now let's get over into the styling of the console and what I did over there to make that space flow in. And you're gonna see how I added a new color into the space, but it works because of the brown that I have going on. Okay, y'all, this is the design that I came up with for this console table. Now, we all know what I went through to find the right console table, and I sure did. Okay, so the way that I styled it the first time is I had it very minimalistic. Okay, so this is how I added some more flair to it because let's say we're styling it for fall. So I'm going to show you how to elegantly style a piece for fall without using any pumpkins, right? Guys, I am not a hater of pumpkins. I have about 2 or 3. The one that I love the most, it broke on my move, and I just haven't pulled none out since then, because if I was going to pull any out, it would have been that one. Okay, and I prefer to go with the bigger pieces versus the little trinkets, right? So how did I style this for fall? I started to add a little bit more to it, to the piece, to bring that fall vibe in. And this is what makes my room feel very cozy along with the bed, right? I add so many layers to my bed. It would only be fair if I add some layers to this as well. Okay, so let's get started with how I started to layer this. So the first thing that I did is I wanted to create this really wild looking but flat, because my TV's here, arrangement, right? I got these branches from Amazon, and the leaves, they have like a hint of burgundy. We know that burgundy is really trending right now. And what I really like different about these is they had some little blossoms on them. Yes, we're going into fall and ain't no blossoms, but in my room, in my spaces, I'm always blossoming, child. So that's what I did here. And what I did to tie in the green I have on the bed is I put it in this really nice green vase. And I think I got this vase from Target. I got this from Target probably about 2 years ago. Okay. And I just styled it on top of some books. Now, the books that I use to style this on, which I really think work, is books that are the same color of the console, right? So I toned this down because this is a lot. This is a lot going on right here, right? So you want to tone it down. If I had put some black books on here under this, it would have looked very much like completely different than what it looks like right now. Okay, let's move on to let's like do this side, and then we'll go to the other side. So on this side, I also added some more books. So the majority of my styling that I was doing to give me these different levels of height is I use books. I use this decorative bowl. I think you've been seeing this bowl a lot on YouTube, but I got this one from Ross. Believe it or not, I think it was like $10 or less, $10.99. Now this is my second one, right? The first one that I purchased, when my daughter was opening the trunk of my car, it fell out and it broke. And I was like, oh my gosh, I will never find another one. And I decided to go on the hunt because why I love this one, not because just the look of it, but the color. I love this warm taupe color that it is versus the others that you're seeing are very cream, off-white in color. I love that this is this darker taupe color. So before I had it styled on only this book, and let me move that book, this black book, and you see the difference. Do you see the difference? The difference, like these are the same color. It's not, it doesn't, this don't look as well. But when you add that black book, when you add this black book on the top of it, Do you see what it does to this bowl? You see the difference? So you have to be intentional. Sometimes you do stuff. Sometimes I see stuff on YouTube, and I am like, just add that. Just no, move that one over there. That's how I am, right? I'm like, move it, no, move it. And then they're like, oh, I don't like how it looks. And they take the whole thing, and I'm like, girl, all you had to do was move that one over there. So this is just an easy idea. It gives it the height that I need it to give. I don't need it too high, but I also don't need it too flat. Why? Because we're coming in with this beauty right here. So this is a candlestick holder that I've had for probably 3 years now. And what I did is I got me some black candlesticks to go in it. Now, what I like about these candlesticks is they're not a jet black. They're more of a gunmetal type of a black, right? And this gave the height that I needed going on over here on this side, which is going to help balance everything else off. So let's go on the opposite side, and we're going to see how this balances everything else off. Okay, guys, so you can see what I did right here. Remember, this was over on that side. But for some reason, when I had it over there this time with this styling, it did not look right. So when I moved it, I took it off completely, but then I moved it and I put it right here. And I was like, well, looky here. So always play around with things. But because this gives me some height on this side, it balances everything else off, right? And then I just came in with some more books right here. These books, I decided to go a little bit larger with these books. And I just decided to just add this little beauty, this little accessory with this color and texture going on here. Just add that on top of that to just give it some nice decor. If I want, I can turn it on the side like that. I can turn it like that, but I like it like this, right? Because it blends into the wall and it make it look like it doesn't have much going on, right? So that is how I decided to style this console table, and I think it turned out real pretty, and I just love how it looks. I look over here at it and I'm like, yeah, I'm not a maximalist and I like to design with little, but I think because we have all of the different layers and stuff going on, and we have so many neutrals going on right here, that's why I think it works, and I think it's still minimal, okay, because of all the neutrals that we have going on. And you see how all of this layering that I did right here, how it plays on into the bed. Okay, so the next piece that I also went and I added to the space is I added this really comfy lounge chair that is a beauty. If you have not seen the video where I put this together, that will be over on Jag by Design. But I love how this chair is, and I have been using the heck out of it. Let's go and check out the chair that I added to my space. Okay, guys, so this is the piece that I added to my space. I have been using her, okay? This is a beautiful piece. I did find this on Amazon, guys. Believe it or not, she's under $130, and she was not that hard to put together. I would say you might need 2 people to put it together, but it was only probably about 4 pieces. Some of the holes didn't meet, but that's typical on these pieces when you have to put them together. But for the price, and for the piece, I think that it was an amazing buy. I do use it so much. I sit over here because I don't like laying up in the bed. So this is the new addition to my room. It fits really well over here in this corner. I like that the ottoman can tuck right under it and be out of the way if I need it to be, but I use the ottoman a lot. So this is the next comfy piece that I did add to the space that just really tied everything together because I wanted to add that extra layer of comfort to my room. Over here looked very empty, and I always wanted to put a piece over here, but I couldn't find the right piece, and now I have the right piece. So this is the new addition to the space. Okay, guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope you guys are inspired to make your space look luxe for the fall season. You don't have to go cheap looking. You don't have to add all the trinkets. We need to get out of the mindset that fall is all about pumpkins, because child, in this home, it's not. And I make sure that my space look designed all year round, and you can too. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, definitely leave me a comment down below. Let me know that you enjoyed the video. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to tell a friend to tell another friend about this channel, and that we are giving a free tea over here on Design Cafe by Jag. I will see you guys on the next upload. Until then, don't allow your budget to dictate what your design is gonna look like. Always remember, never let your budget dictate your style, but create a space that you love. Design for life.